John.
Hey, Eric. How you doing tonight?
Good. Episode 208. You know
oh my
gosh.
4 years?
4 years is a long time.
That is insane.
And we're still doing it, which puts us in the top 0.01% of all podcasts, apparently. Most podcasts stop at
Never let it be said that you don't have some sort of streak of masochism in you.
Although, if we're going to be completely fair, episode, 214 will be the public 4-year mark because we were messing around for the first 5. So if someone goes and looks back at the history of 208 episodes, you can get episode 6. Yeah, it starts at 6. So
yeah,
we'll just keep making up numbers until it, it's a long time.
It's all good. It's all good.
How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was not very Thanksgiving-y, but I'm very thankful for everything that I have and we do, but we did not do a normal Thanksgiving.
I'm still disappointed you didn't do turkey hot dogs. I mean, if it's still,
the hot dogs didn't even work out. So we went camping, and I took my boys camping at least, and then it just rained most of the days we were out there, like enough that we weren't going to go out and make a fire in the rain. Like, what's the point? So we had when we drove out there Wednesday night.
Okay.
And then on my menu, I had planned, hey, we'll get pizza Wednesday night, because, we'll get there, we'll set up, and there's a pizza joint out there that we really like that I'm like, we'll go in, we'll get pizza. And the boys just wanted to bring it home, which was totally fine. Or back to the camper. So we went in and got pizza, brought it back, had pizza while we played, games and stuff like that. And then...
please, you didn't have cold pizza for Thanksgiving dinner. You didn't have leftover cold pizza for Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay. You don't want me to tell you that? Actually, so technically not. I had cold pizza for Thanksgiving breakfast. And then I warmed up the pizza that we had for lunch. I don't remember if we actually ate something, or maybe, I don't remember what we ate for dinner. I think we only had 2 meals that day, so the pizza would have been considered the Thanksgiving meal. Yeah, like I said, it was not a normal Thanksgiving. It was just literally, it was like a bachelor camping Thanksgiving meal. Hey. But the pizza's really good. Your
American card is revoked.
It's okay. I did, and I still want to make some form of meal that includes stuffing here, because I haven't. That's the I love stuffing, and again I'm a simple man. Stovetop is perfectly acceptable, and so at some point here I need to make a meal that includes stovetop, but my kids don't like it. They complain. So, I have to be ready to sort of force them to eat something that they don't want, which, it builds character. I don't know. How about you? How was your Thanksgiving?
We had the traditional Thanksgiving. We went to Grandma's house. The girls came from their respective college dorms and college apartments and met at Grandma's house, and we had some aunts and uncles and nieces over. There were 13 of us total, 14 of us total.
Big gathering.
So, we had a big table, everybody around the table, and turkey, stuffing, lots of stuffing.
Mashed potatoes?
Mashed potatoes.
Clearly. Okay.
Yams. Corn. We did the traditional Thanksgiving dinner with pumpkin pie and whipped cream, which I enjoy. And a key lime pie, which I also very much enjoy.
Oh, yes.
There were other pies, but those were the only pies of which I partook.
I never got a chance to have any pecan pie this this holiday, which is my favorite. But we did buy a Costco pumpkin pie, which we ate pre Thanksgiving. Because once those show up, and they're like, you go to Costco, they're like $6.
Yeah, and they're not pie-sized.
Calories per penny. It's gotta be one of the best. I don't know.
Yeah, because they're like spare tire sized.
They're
gigantic.
They're not
regular pie sized. So
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yep,
it's good stuff.
That was fun.
Good.
My 800-mile journey on the way out, and then on the way back. My boy and I stopped by a place, which is my something fun for the night. So you have to hold on.
Okay.
It was actually pretty cool. And I've just been fixing things this last week in the house. I've got my new desk. I've got a new chair. I haven't told you about my new chair. I actually got a new office chair, nice office chair, which may end up going to my daughter because the chair she has, she's doesn't like, and she's been having some ergonomic issues. So I got with the Cyber Monday deals, I got it's technically a company that does gaming chairs, but it apparently is a really high quality chair, and I really like it. I'm not sitting in it right now. Otherwise, I'd show you.
I was going to say, it doesn't look, that looks like the same chair I've seen you sit in for years.
No, it is actually sitting over by the PS5 because I was using it as a gaming chair before we logged on here.
Okay.
So, anyways,
so that makes me think of something potentially fun. I'll let you know in like a couple of weeks. But a friend of ours knows that I was looking for PS5 for Christmas, and was able to get 2 of them ordered from Walmart. But his comment is that Walmart is notoriously terrible at delivery. So if they come in, I'll manage to get one, which will be fun and awesome. Well, I will let you know if this other friend manages to come through with it,
all right.
Which would be exciting. Because otherwise, I'm like looking on Craigslist and stuff like that. I'm like, you're kidding me. I don't want to go buy even if it's new in box, a scalper.
Yeah, anyway. I will keep my eyes open.
Anyway, we'll see.
Yep.
All right, so you were going to tell me something else cool.
Oh, we also got our COVID boosters this last week, so we're all boosted, ready to go.
My arm is sore right now.
Yeah. So
yeah,
all good.
Did you go for the same thing you got before? You were a Pfizer, right?
Yep. I just said keep sticking me with Pfizer, or as my oldest daughter calls it, vaccine juice. So
it's good for me. All right. Well, we did the same thing. We weren't sure. I don't know. I hadn't really read too much about it, but I figured just the Pfizer seems very good.
Seemed to work for me.
All right. Oh, one last thing, because it's related to stuff we talked about before. So one of the missions for the boy camp out was to listen to the Wheel of Time. So we did not finish it while we were out, but we got we did a good, honest, work person's effort against that. And we've listened to it a couple hours the last couple nights since we've been back, and we've got like half an hour left. So, and it's like a 30-hour, I think. Audiobook. So
yes.
My younger asked me tonight. He was like, "So is this show already out?" And I'm like, "First 4 episodes." He's like, okay. So that's why I'm doing this.
Yep. I listened to probably about 12 hours total on the out and back road trip because I had to share audio time with other things. And then I've been listening to it myself. I'm the only one interested right now, but anyways.
It's good. Well, it's good stuff.
We jump into some segue follow-up, John. You have not talked about your bees in a while. And I saw this article and thought of you. Apparently there's an issue, and it's The Guardian, so it's in the UK, all about fake honey or mixing real honey and how it's affecting the global supply of honey. And the article talks about, I'll just read a couple things here. Chinese honey dominates the global market, but is controversial because beekeepers in other countries say laboratory tests suggest some of the global supply is targeted by fraudsters who dilute with cheaper sugar syrup. Factories in China advertise sugar syrup for sale to be mixed with the honey, which it is claimed in marketing material can beat the most common tests used by the food safety watchdogs. There's been legal action in the United States over claims that the imports of cheap adulterated honey are pushing beekeepers to financial collapse. So, as a beekeeper, do you have opinions?
I have heard this, and I've had people tell me that there's a show. I was just trying to Google it real quick for what the name of it was, but there's a maybe it's Rotten Honey, bee documentary Netflix. Netflix series Rotten, I think.
Oh, Rotten. So I've watched some of those episodes.
Looks like this. Yeah. So
one of them is about bees, bee honey.
Yeah. So this. So I have not actually watched this, but I have heard about it as a beekeeper. I have been told about this, and so here I'll just read this first paragraph of the first Google search that came up, which was, in its debut episode of Lawyers, Guns, and Honey, a new Netflix-produced show, Rotten, explores the rise of corruption and profiteering in the honey industry. The beautifully made documentary not only shows the typical process in the industrial honey production, but delves into Honeygate, a successful sting operation that revealed the flow of fake honey from China. So, yeah. So I think it's a real thing. I don't know for sure, though. I can tell you that the honey that I gave you this year may also be fake. I forget if we talked about that on the podcast or not. But,
no. What do you mean it's fake?
Well, remember how I told you that I did not get much honey this year? And that the stuff I did was tinted red?
Okay.
Okay, maybe you don't. Okay, it's okay. So you go try it. Yeah. If you haven't had it yet, you should try it. I suspect, because I waited until the beginning of August to harvest my honey this year, and in late July, early August is what's called a dearth. Basically, no nectar, nothing's blooming, and so the bees eat through. Like I had less honey when I harvested than I had the previous 2 weeks earlier. So the bees were eating through the store of honey. Right. And at the same time, there was fruit that was ripening. So we had peaches on the peach tree that had gotten too ripe and the bees were all over the peaches. And so I suspect that some amount of the honey that I harvested this year is actually more fructose than glucose from the fruit, from the peaches, as opposed to flowers. I suspect
it all came from bees.
I don't know. It still tastes fine and it tastes good. No, but I don't know. I'm just saying.
If it comes from bees, it's not fake. Don't.
Okay. Okay. Well,
you didn't supplement it with fake sugar.
No. But
okay.
But yeah, my boys like to call it bee spit. By the way, hey, give me some of that bee spit.
Accurate.
They're not wrong. So,
all right.
Anyway.
Okay.
All right. TMI.
Well,
but
cool.
yes, I do believe that this is a real phenomenon, and I should go watch this episode at least to see what they say here, so that I'm not just passing along hearsay. But yeah, I have definitely heard of this.
All right. Well,
okay.
That was my. Let's give John an opportunity to talk bees again.
It's been a long time.
Our podcasts are never long enough.
I can talk more. Okay, it's okay. Nobody wants to hear about bees. Okay, maybe not. Anyway, okay. I had one piece of like real follow up here, which was the identification of the at large quote suspected super hacker Yevgeny. Sorry, I forgot how you told me that's pronounced. Yevgeny Polyanin.
Yeah.
Who we talked about literally 3 episodes ago in, let's see, the episode 205. Do you know the word yeet?
Almost as good as the Shave Llama title.
Right. But so Yevgeny has been tracked down largely due to his wife's racy cupcake business in a home in Barnaul, where he was seen driving. I'm reading now. Dailymail.com tracked suspected super hacker Yevgeny Polyanin, 28, to a chic $380,000 home in Barnaul, where he was seen driving his $74,000 Toyota Land Cruiser 200, evidently feeling untouchable. Blah, blah, blah. So the FBI has a reward of $5 million, leading to his identification and arrest. So, and Biden hypothetically is trying to ask Putin to crack down. So,
on ransomware.
It will be interesting to see if anything happens, but clearly nothing has happened yet. And these, the article goes into all sorts of interviews with his neighbors and his mother and, other people that know him that are like, we're not he doesn't seem to be at any risk of anything, but yes, he has been identified. Located. So that's that. Kind of watch this space. Let's see if anything happens of it.
All right. Well, I have 2 articles. One I just want to mention as it's tech related, not necessarily security related, but if you haven't read it, it's in the Wall Street Journal, so there's a paywall. I read it through Apple News, and it's the title is the money quote. It's time to get rid of the IT department. And
interesting.
The entire article is about, hey, a separate IT department that runs all things computers and networks is outdated. And the one quote I pulled was this one. And then I would just suggest that anyone who's interested in this, I thought it was thought-provoking anyways. The one quote I pulled was, "Here's the sad fact. Having an IT department is exactly what will prevent companies from being innovative, agile, customer-focused, and digitally transformed." So it makes some very bold claims, and it was interesting. So that's just article number 1. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, go read it. It's a long article, Wall Street Journal. Again, it's a paywall, but I'm sure there are ways to read things. I would recommend reading that one.
I have not read that. I'll have to read it.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good.
I'll have to read it.
And then my second article is from Bleeping Computer, and we talked about this in episode 173, titled "A Little Bit of Trollery."
A little too far back to be follow-up, eh?
Yes. This is, it could have been follow-up, but This is about a Ubiquiti breach. So this was
right.
January. So like almost exactly a year ago in January, there was a Ubiquiti breach. And I remember at the time, and when I was Googling for the episode, I discovered that I had misspelled. This was an odd episode, so I edited it. I misspelled Ubiquiti. I spelled it with a Y. So when I was Google searching for it, I couldn't find it. I'm like, I know we talked about this. Anyways, the gist of it was Ubiquiti had a breach and there was all this data. And I think there was some hand-wringing about everything that went on. Well, now it appears that an employee is being charged essentially with insider. This is an inside job, insider threat. So this ex-employee was arrested and charged. Was this today or yesterday?
I think it was just today.
Just today. So
as we record
Wednesday,
this,
December 1st. Yeah. With data theft and attempting to extort his employer while posing as a whistleblower and then as an anonymous hacker. So as alleged, the guy's name is Nicholas Sharp, exploited his access as a trusted insider to steal gigabytes of confidential data from his employer, then posing as an anonymous hacker, sent the company a nearly $2 million ransom demand. Then further, the FBI alleges that when they searched his home in connection with the theft, they found that he was posing also as an anonymous company whistleblower, planting damaging news stories, falsely claiming that the theft had been a hacker enabled by a vulnerability in the company's computer systems, which I'm pretty sure that's what the prevailing wisdom was at the time, was that Ubiquiti had a breach somewhere and they fixed it, and it was a weird article because Ubiquiti didn't say. Anyways,
it was no, Ubiquiti came under some criticism, my recollection at least, for not being a little more open about what was going on and what the vulnerability was. Yeah.
So anyways, the article that we'll link, the Bleeping Computer article, it actually doesn't. It talks about the Department of Justice, what's it called? Charges. And it says, Sharp was subsequently re-victimized his employer by causing the publication of misleading news articles about the company's handling of the breach that he perpetrated, which were followed by a significant drop in the company's share price associated with a loss of billions of dollars in market capitalization. Now, the Department of Justice didn't actually name the employer, but the Bleeping Computer has linked it with the Ubiquiti breach by basically checking out Sharp's LinkedIn account, when it happened, kind of the details of the Ubiquiti breach, and kind of figured it out. So the guy is facing 4 counts and up to 37 years in prison if he's found guilty. But one of the things, or a couple of things to also note here, which kind of goes to, and I want to say I remember talking about this specifically, was the Ubiquiti in the original breach notification either implied or outright said, we don't know exactly things because we don't have the log files. And I remember thinking, or we talking about at the time, saying, hey, you should keep your logs, et cetera, et cetera. Well, to hide his malicious activity, Sharp altered log retention policies and other files that would have exposed his identity during the subsequent incident investigation. So it's not that Ubiquiti probably didn't have proper log retention policies. It's that the malicious insider altered them to help hide himself. And he also did things using a VPN from his home IP address. But there was a hiccup there, which actually exposed his actual address at some point. So that's part of how they found him. Anyways, wow. So I don't know. It's been a year, so I don't know how many pundits may or may not have to mea culpa on some of their comments about Ubiquiti at the time. But I think, as you said, this was just came out today. I think there will be more to come. But
I'm glad to hear this was how it actually came about. Maybe not, I'm a big Ubiquiti customer.
Yeah.
And so I would rather see that it's something that's, unusual, and presume that there's going to be further changes to help limit the ability of an insider to do this kind of thing.
Right.
So that's good. That's kind of on the glass half full.
Yeah, I would guess that those controls have been in place for a while, since this is now essentially a year old.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah. I actually just weekend before Thanksgiving, I did a upgrade of my Ubiquiti controller and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's funny that this happened. I feel like I'm up to date. I got all the security all the security fixes. All my devices are patched. Everything's good to go. Anyway,
nice.
It's good stuff.
All right, so there you go. Those are what caught my eye this week.
All right, good stuff. I have 2 articles as well. My first one is a Catalan one from the Record, which is HP printers. And just to jump ahead a little bit, the vulnerability in the font parsing. Anyway, so HP released security updates earlier this month to address a vulnerability that impacts more than 150 models, and this I have not patched. Actually, I did not see this update, so I gotta do this. But
same.
This the vulnerability can be used to create wormable exploits that can self-replicate and spread to other HP printers inside internal networks or over the internet. So I don't know how many HP printers are exposed on the internet at this point, but
lots.
Please don't expose your printer on the internet.
I'm going to bet hundreds of thousands.
No bet. So this was, let's see, it says discovered earlier this year by Alexander Bolshov and Timo Hervonen at F-Secure, and that HP released the patch on November 1st. So it's been a month since the patch came out. But they said it's a buffer overflow in the printer's font parser. That's what it meant.
Oops.
And that, let's see, another quote. They say exploit code can abuse this buffer overflow to gain control over a printer's firmware, to steal data or assemble devices into botnets while leaving little evidence of exploitation behind. And there's a second defect, although it wasn't clear whether this was also patched in the same update, but a second defect that requires physical access to a vulnerable device to exploit, and that it says it takes up to 5 minutes to execute compared to the first one, which takes only a few seconds. So I presume the second one is, requires using USB or something. I didn't actually read the CVE, but the fact that it requires physical access to the device, I guess with physical access they could actually be taking the printer apart enough to get to one of the boards or something.
Yeah. Anyway,
so that's the first one. The final quote I pulled out is that MFPs can be, or multifunction printers can be used as a pivot point. Quote, because there are no decent tools to perform forensics on embedded devices, this would make it easy for an attacker to infiltrate an organization and accomplish their goals without leaving evidence that would lead back to the MFP. So, devices are computers too. So, that was my first one. So, patch your HP printers.
I have to do that.
Yep. I really like my printer. I don't know if I've mentioned. I feel like it's been long enough. We've been podcasting. I'm sure I bought this thing while we were on the podcast. But I've got a nice laser these days that I really, really like, and I use all the time. So nothing bad about having a good printer, but keep it patched.
Yep.
All right. So my second article, did you read this one? The Krebs on Security?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
I like the title. Internet is held together with spit and baling wire.
So true. Although I will tell you, when the whole COVID started and everybody was working from home, I would have taken any bet for any amount of money anybody would have given me that would have included major internet failures because of the shift of everybody moving from central office hubs to homework, which did not happen. So that spit and baling wire is it's high quality spit and baling wire. It's bee spit and baling wire. So,
yeah, the power of simple systems connected and chained together. So you are looking at the power of Unix. So well done, Carnegie and Ritchie and everyone else at Bell Labs. Yeah, but the more you know, there's a good chance for this. Anyway, I assume that you have you ever, sent an email by telnetting to a mail server?
Not recently, but I have done that.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, in the 90s. At least for me, it was in the 90s. And these days, I don't know, they have some other protocols that help with some of those security things. But at the beginning of the internet, all of these protocols, most of these protocols are text-based protocols, right? HTTP, SMTP. If you knew how to connect on a socket and type the right commands in, followed by enters, you could command these different services to do things. One of these is the Internet Routing Registry. So, I should go to my notes instead of the article because I popped the article up, but This is, I think I said, this is on Krebs. So, quote, imagine being able to disconnect or redirect internet traffic destined for some of the world's biggest companies just by spoofing an email.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because this is insane. Now I got to go back to the thing. There were, let's see. The way the internet ISPs that the big ISPs route traffic is using something called Border Gateway Protocol, and BGP tells the autonomous systems, if you ever see like ASN, something like that, an ASN is a number of a distinct network. And the whole point is that, the internet is a distributed system. So anyway, this BGP tells the autonomous systems how they can connect to their neighbors. And this IRR, Internet Routing Registry, maintain decentralized database that says, how to route to different systems, to the different autonomous systems. So, but one of the problems is, so like if I own a subnet, I need a way to be able to tell the Internet Routing Registry, hey, I'm going over here. And in the dark ages of the internet, they automated the ability to update IRR records by a couple of mechanisms. And the three that were called out here in this article are a password that's added to the text of an email. So this is with a of type minus crypt password, crypt PW, PGP key, so a signed email, or mail from, as in it looks at the from header on the email and says, hey, that from header is coming from the domain that they're trying to change. They can update the record. The problem is that you can't spoof that. Yes, you can. So, anyway, so the other comment in here is that of these, mail from has long been considered insecure for the simple reason it's not difficult to spoof the return address of an email, and virtually all IRRs have disallowed its use since at least 2012.
That's been a while.
All except Level 3 Communications, a major internet backbone provider acquired by Lumen/CenturyLink. So, so here's another quote. Level 3 is the last IRR operator which allows the use of this method, although they have discouraged its use since at least 2012. Other IRR operators have fully deprecated mail from. Anyway, so let me go back. Let me go back to this. So the whole point of this article is basically saying that one of the top couple dozen largest internet backbone providers was allowing mail from record updates basically until this came out. With the publishing of this article, they said, so Lumen, here's a quote from Lumen. Lumen told Krebs on Security it continued offering mail from authentication because many of its customers still relied on it due to legacy systems. Nevertheless, after receiving Corab's report, the company decided the wisest course of action was to disable mail from authentication altogether. So we recently received notice of a known insecure configuration with our route registry. We already had mitigating controls in place, and to date we have not identified any additional issues. As part of our normal cybersecurity protocol, we carefully considered this notice and took steps to further mitigate any potential risks the vulnerability may have created for our customers or systems. So it has been taken away, basically, but essentially this is a weak link of DNA that persisted long past when it should have.
Yeah.
And evidently 9 years passed when, this didn't actually say that all the others, no, it does. It said virtually all IRRs have disallowed its use since 2012.
Yeah.
Virtually all does not mean all but the one, but there has to be a last dinosaur left alive. So now
it's called your truck, John.
Oh, come on. Don't hate on my Explorer. Don't hate on my Explorer. It's totally going to die. It's totally going to die. And I'm going to be so sad.
I should not laugh. It's been a good truck.
You're being cruel. You're being cruel.
Anyways, sorry.
I've had that truck. So when did I buy that? I bought it in 2008. 23 years. I think because it's a 96 and it was about a year old, but I think it was a late 96. So yeah, I might have bought it in 2007, late 2007 or early 2008. It's a good
for
truck.
A 96. That's 10 years old.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm getting my centuries wrong. I bought it in 98 or 97 or 98.
That's what I thought. All right.
Anyway,
continue.
All right. No, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
How about something fun?
I had lots of fun things this week, but I'm going to stick with the one I teased at the beginning.
Okay.
So on the route home, we did a... You're correcting my text.
It was just a typo. I can fix a typo. I'm allowed.
I'm staring at my notes, and all of a sudden my note. Yeah. Anyways, we went by the Golden Spike National Historic Park. It's about an hour off the main road that you would, go. It's where the railroads, the East and the West railroads met. And it's in a town near a town called Corinne, Utah. And so my boy and I drove out there on the way home and got to wander around the park, got to see the trains. They're replicas of the trains in, what was this, 1896, 1869? 1869. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, they were closed for the season for doing the reenactments, but they actually do the reenactments of the two trains meeting from different directions and, fake driving a spike, the golden spike and it's not a very big historic park, but it was actually kind of cool to walk around. You can go see and stand. We took pictures of the place where the actual final spike was driven. There's a plaque and a fancy railroad tie that marks the actual spot.
That's so awesome.
Where it was. So it was kind of fun. They had one of the trains. The reason they closed for the season is they tear them all apart because they're the actual steam, coal, wood, fire-driven trains. They're exact replicas of the actual trains themselves. So, anyways, it was kind of fun to go see, and it also happens to be not too far from, was it Northrop Grumman? The place where they build and test the rockets for NASA.
Ooh, okay.
And so that didn't really have it had a park where they had a bunch of rockets to see, but there was no tour. It was just kind of like a place where they had the NASA rockets. They're the rockets that used forever for the Challenger and whatnot. Anyway, so that was a bonus side trip. We went and saw this kind of place where they had a bunch of rockets, or rocket boosters, I guess I should say. So there is my something
I'm jealous.
fun.
That's cool. That's totally cool. Okay, hold on. I'm looking for I don't know if you've seen this, but have you seen the national parks? There's some person on, I don't know, a graphic artist that has taken the Yelp review comments from the national park reviews and then made posters out of them.
On Etsy, I think I have seen those. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So I found something, but I don't see. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's more from this shop here. But I don't know. For the Yellowstone, it's like save yourself some money and boil some water at home. I was looking for if there was one for the Golden Spike. If there was one for that. See what they said. But it does not seem to come up.
Well, I will tell you what someone told me so it's a national park. It costs $20 to go. Uh-huh. As we're out there kind of looking and reading the plaques, a guy walks by, looks at me and says, "That's the fastest $20 I've ever spent." Cuz it's not a very big park. I'm like, dude, come on. You got to see some trains, replica trains. You got to actually see where it was worth $20. Come on. And he had a whole family in tow, and I'm like, maybe you were just trying to be funny, but
yeah.
Come on.
No, I don't know. I love some of these. I love national parks. So just to be clear, but I'm thinking of the one that says, for White Sands, it's there's nothing to see. It's just white sand. or here's the one for the Arches National Park. Looks nothing like the license plate.
Yeah.
Okay,
I like Sequoia National Park. There are bugs and they will bite your face.
Oh, anyway, okay. I'm jealous though. I would like to go there. I'll have to make a point at some point.
It was small, but it was kind of cool. I wish we would have been able to go see the replica trains, and they apparently they do it 3 times a day when they're in season, but it's Thanksgiving, and you can actually travel 10 miles of the grade and the track by car. It follows the tracks as part of the park, which is closed during the winter season. So it's more you do it and
be fun.
Yeah. And then if you go on the actual date, I think May 10th, they get people decked out in replica costumes, and they do the whole shindig, celebrate with the champagne and all that kind of stuff. So anyways,
awesome.
It was fun.
Okay. I will have to go sometime.
My something fun.
Okay, my something fun. So JR actually put this in Slack, but I thought this was totally, totally cool. So this is an article in Quanta magazine about why sleep deprivation kills. And
that sounds frightening.
It is. But did you can die. There was a comment in here. Of course I didn't pull it out, but it's easier to die of sleep deprivation, or it's faster to die of sleep deprivation than starvation.
Oh wow!
And we don't really know why. This sort of opens up with, what does sleep do that makes it deadly to go without? Could answering that question explain why we need sleep in the first place? And for years, people assume that it's because of the brain. And you've probably even heard, the brain needs time to process the day's events. Why do you sleep? And so this is cool because they've figured out a way to both pinpoint when something happens, like an effect that happens in this particular case, fruit flies that are being denied sleep. And then also a way to neutralize it and prove that they don't die when it's neutralized. So it's totally cool. So basically it says this is what's her name? Scientist. Didn't pull her name out in this quote, but I should give her credit. Okay, Dragana Rogula. They offer evidence that when flies die of sleeplessness, lethal changes occur not in the brain, but in the gut. The indigo labyrinths of the fly's small intestines light up with fiery fuchsia in micrographs, betraying an ominous buildup of molecules that destroy DNA and cause cellular damage. The molecules appear soon after sleep deprivation starts, before any other warning signs. If the flies are allowed to sleep again, it fades. And strikingly, if the flies are fed antioxidants that neutralize these molecules, it does not matter if they never sleep again. They live as long as their rested brethren.
I was unaware that flies slept in the first place. I didn't think they lived long enough to sleep.
Everything sleeps. That's the thing. Maybe there's some. I'm not a biologist. I'm sleep's one of those things that all critters, bees sleep. Bees sleep.
Yeah.
Everything sleeps.
Sure.
I know so little about biology. It's such not my thing. It's my wife's thing. My wife's the biologist in the family. But anyway, this is staggering, I think. So here's another quote. The results suggest that one very fundamental job of sleep, perhaps underlying a network of other effects, is to regulate the ancient biochemical process of oxidation, by which individual electrons are snapped on and off molecules in service to everything from respiration to metabolism. Sleep, the researchers imply, is not solely the province of neuroscience, but something more deeply threaded into the biochemistry that knits together the animal kingdom. So, this is totally cool. So there's pictures in here. I'll probably put one of the pictures in the chapter art here. But the other thing I pulled out, I mean, sleep's been studied for a long time, but in the, I think it was in the 80s, might have been in the 90s. Hold on. Yeah, in the 80s, a researcher, Alan Rechtschaffen, did a cruel experiment. Oh my gosh, these experiments seem terrible, but he devised a rat cage in the form of a turntable suspended over water with a divider down the middle so that the animals could live on either side while the turntable floor beneath spun freely, and then puts a pair of rats, one of which is denied sleep, but the setup ensured that both rats fell equally into the water, or it fell into the water equally often, but the control rat could still sleep whenever the other rat was denied sleep was active. And so it says the control rats managed to sleep about 70% as much as they normally would, suffering only mild sleep deprivation. The unluckier experimental rats got less than 9%, almost total sleep loss. So both were disturbed the same number of times, both suffered the stress of falling into the water and having to clamber back out dripping, but only the severely sleep-deprived rats began to decline. Their fur grew rough and disheveled, went from white to a mangy yellow. They developed lesions on their skin. They lost weight. After around 15 days on average, they died. And Rechtschaffen had discovered a way to show that sleep loss itself really did kill. So that was some work from a few decades before.
I don't like rats, but that sounds mean.
We had a rat as a pet for a while, and I like rats. I like rats a lot. But the point of this is that let's see. The images in here are amazing. By day 10, the numbers of what do they call it? ROS, reactive oxygen species. What is it? I think it has an extra electron. Yeah. Okay. When Vaccaro dissected flies at various levels of deprivation, their tissues all seem unharmed, with one very marked exception. Their guts were thick with reactive oxygen molecules with an oxygen atom that bears a spare electron. Some ROS are produced in the normal course of organisms' respiration, metabolism, and immunological defense, but if ROS are not swept up by antioxidant enzymes, they become extremely dangerous because that unbalanced oxygen rips electrons away from DNA, proteins, and lipids. Indeed, after ROS appeared a week into the fly's sleep deprivation, markers of oxidative damage soared, a sign that cells were in crisis. So, anyway, eat your blueberries.
Antioxidants.
So, I thought this article was amazing.
Cool. Just looking at the headline. So, two thoughts come to mind. One, I was thinking this reminded me of the signs on the freeway that said, sleeping, drowsy driving is the same as drunk driving. Pull over. From that. And then the other was your something fun about the guy on the Brain article on the Brain a while ago. And I got the book and read the book. Or I'm not finished with it, but I've been reading the book. Talks about, the brain and how the brain works and why sleep matters. What's going on in why, when you dream, it's so that, anyways.
You have to keep the areas of the brain active so that the other areas don't encroach and
don't
take over the connections.
Yeah. So, anyways, brains are cool.
It's a balance. Like biology is this amazing balance of all these different forces. So, anyway, I thought that was an awesome article. So, thanks, JR, for that. And with that, we should probably be done.
Yeah. Have a good night, John.
All right. I'll talk to you later, Eric. Bye.